right, sorry, I guess we lost communications, Chuck.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times weather reporters were not getting paid enough.
I'm sure you can tell right now the wind is really strong out here right now, actually.
For this list, we'll be ranking instances where reporters in inclement conditions went above and beyond the call of duty. Can you think of any we missed? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Mic check. CNN's John Berman appears to have things well in control, for the most part, during his coverage of Hurricane Florence back in 2018.
The eye did make landfall in Wrightsville Beach, about 6 miles from where I am.
Berman is being whipped around by tremendous wind and pelted by rain the entire time, but his delivery remains calm and measured throughout most of his reporting. However, things eventually do ramp up, to the point where Berman's microphone cord gets split and he's momentarily unable to make contact with the CNN newsroom.
From a different direction. We will prepare for that.
He eventually gets things back up and running, but Berman was definitely suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous weather on this day.
Just literally split.
Yes, John, we hear you.
The cord just literally split in two. The cord just split in two at the connector right now.
Number 9. A hurricane rips the roof off. Why do we watch wild weather on the news? Is it just because we're concerned about the level of devastation at hand? Or are we morbidly curious to watch newscasters report from the front lines?
Give me a thumbs up.
It's a question that's asked more often these days, but perhaps less so back in 2008 when Hurricane Ike entered the US via the Gulf of Mexico and battered Texas. Reporter Mark Boyle was on assignment in the Galveston County area with Corey Reppenhagen when they captured this impressive display of destruction.
Waves just continue to pound on shore. Hurricane Ike is coming on land.
The roof from a building can be seen behind Boyle, being torn completely free and blowing away in the wind. It's scary stuff. Number 8. Waiting in water. Sometimes your average, everyday reporter can become a lifeline for a person in need. This was the case with WESH2's Tony Atkins in Orlando, who became a hero for a local nurse who became stranded by riding floodwaters.
This morning, look how high that water is.
While attempting to make it into work, she became stuck. Atkins carried her from her car to safety. He and McCullough later reunited so that she could thank him. He also received thank you cards from McCullough's family, as well as praise for his brave and selfless behavior.
So I just, used caution and I just decided to slowly make my way out there.
Number 7. Stating the obvious. The Weather Channel's Jeff Morrow made a meteorological understatement when he was covering the impact of Hurricane Wilma back in 2005.
Very hard to stand! Oh.
Wilma, which battered Florida to the tune of over $20 billion in damages and 52 deaths, meant business. However, Morrow's reactions to the storm's severity have often made the rounds in humor circles thanks to his matter-of-fact delivery of the line, "It's very hard to stand."
Just the power of the hurricane! Extremely strong!
Morrow gets absolutely belted by ridiculous winds and has to lean against a pillar in order to report live from the scene.
It'll be over soon, but not right now.
Number 6. Blown away. 2008's Hurricane Ike was responsible for numerous examples of reporters working within all kinds of harrowing weather.
So this is a storm to be taken very, very seriously.
This reporter from the Weather Channel got more than he bargained for when he went out during Ike's rage to cover the storm. He's completely blasted off his feet by the raging winds, eventually coming to land atop a nearby bush. Thankfully, only the reporter's pride seems to be hurt, as he quickly gets back to his feet and continues as if nothing happened. Well, that's dedication.
Sorry about that. Wow, that was a heck of a gust.
Number 5. Al Roker holds it down. Al Roker is one of the definitive personalities of TV weather, someone that Americans have come to rely on. Al has seen himself in the thick of some fairly dangerous storm situations as well, such as the time Roker was in Naples, Florida covering Hurricane Wilma. The storm's surge and wind gusts are so strong that it requires one of Al's co-workers holding fast to the reporter's legs in order to get the shot. This doesn't last long, however, as Wilma's wrath eventually knocks both Al and his helper to the ground.
Right about now, I do.
okay?
We're okay. We're okay.
Number 4. Duck.
For me, just scream at me, right?
Flying debris is no joke. Local and national newscasters take their lives in their hands covering all of this wild weather, oftentimes as hurricane force winds blow around everything in sight. WFOR-TV's Brian Andrews made the ill-advised decision to run straight into the brunt of Hurricane Katrina as it was assaulting New Orleans in 2005. He has to take cover almost immediately, crouching down and actually catching debris as it flies down the street.
All right, I'm gonna crouch down and use this as cover.
Then, perhaps feeling as though he'd had enough, Andrews attempts to make it back to the comparative safety of an alleyway before being knocked to the ground by Katrina's wrath. Ouch. Number 3. Accidental tebow. Okay, so we know that tebowing isn't a thing anymore, but this wasn't the case back in 2012. This was where many sports fans felt it was fun to mimic the NFL quarterback's penchant for kneeling in prayer prior to a game. Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel demonstrated an accidental tebow during his coverage of Hurricane Ian, as the storm's winds demolished the area around Cantori.
Just came flying by. All right, you know what? I think I'm just going to come in here for a second.
The reporter is almost knocked completely off his feet by an errant tree branch before trying to make it back to his crew. He staggers, stops, kneels, and waits.
Just give me a second.
Jim, you all right?
I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Eventually, Cantori makes it up and out of harm's way, but this was some impressively dangerous weather.
Well, we're happy to report that Jim is okay, and we spoke with him earlier from Punta Gorda.
Number 2. Educating on climate change. As the reality of climate change becomes accepted across the board, the modern meteorologist often serves a dual role as an educator.
It could happen every 5 to 10 years by the end of this century.
While it's difficult to attribute individual weather events to climate change, a warmer climate does result in more intense and destructive hurricanes. After Hurricane Ida's destruction in New York City in 2021, ABC News chief meteorologist Ginger Z spoke to the Good Morning America audience about how warmer waters make such storms that much stronger. She knows how meteorologists often need to wear multiple hats as newscasters, scientists, and teachers.
So the biggest economies in the world have to make urgent change.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You'll have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. A weather tragedy. Newscasters will often do just about anything to capture live weather. Unfortunately, some of those professionals have paid for this dedication with their lives. Two such professionals were news anchor Mike McCormick and photojournalist Aaron Smeltzer, who worked for WYFF Channel 4 News. The pair were covering heavy rains in Polk County, North Carolina, when a tree was uprooted and fell onto their SUV.
Anchor Mike McCormick and photojournalist Aaron Smeltzer were inside.
Their loss caused a massive outpouring of grief and support by all of those who tuned into their reporting. However, it also opens up questions as to the need for on-site reporting of dangerous weather.
Two passionate journalists, two gentle souls.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.